going on, world? This is Christopher Bonilla. Today's video is going to be opinion based, meaning this is strictly going to be my views and my beliefs on this matter. Now, this will have views from other Christian hip-hop artists that I was able to talk to, or they were kind enough to respond. Or it will have things I've heard others say through interviews or other media platforms. Either way, I won't disclose who said what, but I will name drop artists later on in the video for discussion purposes. Alright, let's get to it. So as some of you may already know, I'm a heavy lover of Christian hip-hop music. And one of my favorite things about Christian hip-hop is collabs. I love collabs because it shows the beauty of the unity of Christ when two artists come together or more artists come together for the glory of God on a single song. To me, I think that's dope, and it's amazing fan service too. But one thing that's been on my mind is that why haven't the top Christian hip-hop artists done more collabs? I'm aware there's several other factors involved when it comes to collabing, but it's still on my mind. Either way, I know one artist who said something along the lines of not doing collaborations for the sake of collaborations. And it's better or more genuine when you actually collaborate with someone that you already have a genuine relationship with. And that will make the collab more real and more significant. To which I agree, but not all the way. The only reason I disagree is probably my fault or me being too naive about the industry. But I've never met that many Christian rappers who are either mean or don't want to collaborate with somebody. But I have heard stories about these things. The story that I know is that one artist paid for a feature from another Christian hip-hop artist, but that never came through. And it turns out that that artist either A, stole the money, or B, returned it super late. And in my opinion, that ruined what could have been a very awesome collaboration. And it went sideways because either one artist was tripping or not as poppin', and it was just kind of wild, and so many things could have happened that only Lord knows what actually went down. Another scenario in the Christian hip-hop community is not working with another CHH artist because either A, no one knows them, or they're just not big enough. And so I think that could for real change your hopes and bring down your perception of that artist. Either way, I thought that was super wild, and I'm not gonna sit here and point the gospel finger, especially because that's not gonna change what already happened in the past. Either way, one thing that I hope for is for those artists to apologize to one another and forgive each other so that way they can come together again. But as of right now, that's between them and God. If I was a rapper and I asked another Christian hip-hop artist for a collaboration and they said to me, nah, no one knows you, bro, it's not gonna help my brand, then I'll be like, oh, alright, it's like that then? Fine. And legit, just wipe the dust off my shoulders and sandals and bounce. Anyways, another artist I spoke to who is IG verified, that's not a flex, just an observation. Anyways, he said it usually depends on the artist and what they stand for as a Christian. Kind of like saying, what is that artist really about and what's in their heart and what is their music about? Also, what is this artist's message in terms of what he's saying as a Christian rapper? Is he promoting fellowship and communion with the body of Christ? If so, then he's probably more inclined to broaden his horizon of who he wants to collaborate with, including Christian hip-hop artists. He also mentioned on the other side of that coin is that there are artists who are more strategic and selective when it comes to who they want to work with. Reason being is because they either want to push their brand forward or it's all about quality control, meaning what's in their budget, because it does cost to have producers, directors, and designers on a track and create all these amazing projects. Which to me is totally understandable, especially when it comes to collaborations. Lastly, they also mentioned that it also depends on the direction of the artist and where are they going in their life with their music and artistry. And basically, I really do understand him, not just because he's a veteran in the Christian hip-hop community, but because he's been through it. Not only that, he took time out of his day to respond to my message. Even if it took some time, I was still very grateful that he responded to my message. And for real, it was a blessing in and of itself. And either way, they most likely responded because something like this has been on their heart too. So I was grateful nonetheless once again. So maybe I'm not alone in this matter. Anyways, a while back, that same artist did an interview about this topic, where he reached out to a bigger artist or a more well-known Christian hip-hop artist, and things didn't work out that way. Anyways, that same artist said in an interview about reaching out to other hip-hop artists who are either A, bigger, or B, more well-known. And he reached out in terms of expanding the ministry of the CHH community and just helping them out in general. And in that same interview, he mentioned that he said, yo, let's collab if God wills. And honestly, I could understand why he said that, because you never know what an artist is going through with their life, with their schedule and touring and planning and all these other factors that come into play. Anyways, he finished off the interview by saying that the collabs never happened for those very same reasons, and so a lot of the artists actually declined him as well. But my response to that is, if you say if God wills, then why wouldn't God will? It's artists of faith coming together for his glory. So what's wrong with that? Point is, I don't really know where to stand on all of this, especially since I'm not a Christian hip-hop artist. Now this is where I name drop artist. I love Lecrae, Montel Fish, and Neff, Andy Mineo, MC Jin, Social Club Misfits, even Christian rappers who haven't made music in a long time like KJ52, T-Bone, Toby Mac, or even Beautiful Eulogy, and even mainstream rappers who have done proclamations of faith. Kanye West, Chance the Rapper, Kendrick Lamar. I think it'll be awesome if those guys just came together and did a rap song for the Lord. But you still never know. People gotta make a living. And sometimes sharing the same faith isn't enough to work together in this world. I also want to mention that back in the day there was a cypher with Kanye West and MC Jin when they were both very secular artists. Now they're both Christian. And yo, a collab from these two artists centered around faith, race, and love is something I think the world could use, in my opinion. Or I'd love to see a collab of Chance the Rapper, NF, Lecrae, and throw in D1 into the mix. So that'd be dope. Actually, there is an edit I saw back in the day of Sway in the Morning that featured 3 Christian rappers. That's the most Christian rappers I've ever seen in a secular cypher. It was MC Jin, Andy Mineo, and D1. And a collab from them that's official would be so wild and so amazing. But the sad truth is, as of now, there are no collabs like that or even hints of collaborations like that. And some artists are just involved in other projects and have their hands tied. And are either under strict rules from management or their labels. Even if they're independent, they still have to follow certain guidelines. Basically, there are other elements and variables at play that have these limitations and that limit these artists from collaborating together, which in my opinion is still kind of a bummer. We may never hear Lecrae and Kanye West, or What Up RG and Zonti, or even Kid Tris with Montel Fish, or like Toby Mac with Aha Gazelle. Not to mention non-American Christian hip-hop artists overseas that are all over the world who want to collaborate with Christian artists. But I'm on the side of, if you're a Christian and you're not on the side of unity, especially with all the division going on in the world, then just as a fan, I could only hope that these collaborations one day happen. Do I pray for it? Not really. But like I said, I'm not one to point the finger at anybody in the situation. It's really just me sharing my thoughts on the problem CHH has that could worsen if this mentality or this limitation continues to persist. Like I said, I love collabs, but one thing I honestly need you guys to know is that I'm totally 100% grateful for what's already out right now. Either collaborations or just artists coming out and releasing albums, mixtapes, and EPs, I love them all the way, and I will continue to support their music. I have no problem with it, I love it. Like I said, this is just my limited perception of what I see going on. And it may not be accurate, so if I'm in the wrong, please let me know in the comment section down below. Maybe it's me who's not understanding something, especially because I'm not in the game, I'm just looking at observations. And I'd love and appreciate to be educated in this field a little bit more. Either way, thank you all for hearing me out. I also want to thank the homie EC, that's his music playing in the background of this video. I'm going to leave the links of him and his music in the description box below. Take care and stay blessed.